Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Somebody has a case of the Mondays. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. What is going on, everybody? That was an intro. Wow, that was like the remix version of the normal intro music, I guess. At least I heard it kind of remixed version in my ear, but that was crazy. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network at Fantasy Alarm and all your favorite social media platforms. But we are on YouTube. YouTube at Fantasy Alarm, at Better Network, or and on my Facebook as well at Edward Raus. Heavy T is here with us again tonight. He's having a rough time behind the glass here, but he'll get it all figured out. We're going to get it all figured out tonight because what better night to have Monday Night Rants than literally the rematch of the Super Bowl. That's right. The Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs going at it right now. The start of the second quarter. It is 7-7. Jalen Hurts has thrown a bad interception. Pat Mahomes has thrown a touchdown pass to Justin Watson, who just happens to be a listener of the show. So shout out to Justin Watson out there listening in your truck as you drive, as you always do, and give me some love on Facebook. Your boy just scored a touchdown for the Chiefs tonight. And the touchdown the other way was DeAndre Swift, who's already has 7 for 37 and a touchdown. Very close game. Very good game. And what could be, what I think at this point should be, what I would imagine is the Super Bowl at this point. You have to imagine with the way you see everything unfolding in this year's NFL season. So we'll keep you informed the rest of the night as the game unfolds. I know it is the biggest Monday night game of the year and probably will be because the rest of the Monday night games we had, I mean, Jesus, how can you even compare with what we've seen here lately on Monday Night Rants during the Monday Night Football games? So, again, we'll keep you up to date. Heavy T is here with behind the glass as always. Tyler Heavy T Soto with the news and the insights. And yes, Taylor Swift is not there. That's all I wanted. We'll have to wait for another Chiefs game. Or until she's back from South America, I guess. But everyone else is there in full force, the entire Kelsey family. And the mom rocking. By the way, this is great, too. If you didn't see, give it a Goog. Donna Kelsey, the mother of the Kelsey brothers, was walking in wearing a half Chief, half, Eagles thing, like she always does. Except she was sponsored by Raising Cane's. She had a Raising Cane's. Look, what? What's going on here? What is going on here, Donna Kelsey? The Raising Cane's pay you money to put that on your split jersey? It's absolutely insane. Anyways, last week we had Make the Cut with Heavy T, so we'll have more time this week to give you more bets, which I do for tonight's NBA action, NCAA basketball action. There's a really good game on later tonight. You should probably take action on. I'll give you that in a second. We're also going to have the rant lines as always. I am going to go off on a tangent on Brandon Staley. I'm just warning you right now. I am going to go off on Brandon Staley, and it's not going to be pretty. I'm going to go off on Zach Wilson. Not necessarily him. It's not really his fault. It's more of Saleh's fault, but I'll get into that as well. I want to talk about the Browns. I want to talk about what I learned watching football yesterday. Some big injuries dropping like flies. Aaron Jones, Cooper Kupp again. Crazy. Sorry, Devon A-Chan owners, but that was fun, right? You know that meme with Grandpa Simpson where he walks in, does the twirl, grabs his hat, that was A-Chan, but it looks like it's not as bad as we think. I'll give you the information on that later. And I want to talk about the hip tackle, which has been huge conversation this last weekend. That's how Mark Andrews went down. There was a few other ones in college football. There was a hip tackle on the Florida State quarterback that destroyed his leg completely. We're not going to show that video on here because it's very gruesome, but looks like he is done for the season. And we will also go over a big rivalry week in the NCAA football this week. Some big games. I'll give you my bets, and Heavy T will join me for that as well to give some bets on some of the big games coming up this weekend in college football. And then we're going to have What Say Ye, Heavy T. He says he has an interesting take on the AFC title game. So I'm going to, hey, What Say Ye, Heavy T, later on that as well. Case of the Mondays coming at the end. And one very special case of the Mondays that I could bid farewell to. And that would be, well, you'll have to wait and see when that comes to a close. There is a guillotine eulogy possibly tonight. It's coming down between Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith. I don't know if we're going to have it before the show ends. May have to go to next week, but it's very close. I am safe once again, even with the Mark Andrews injury. But there's a few other fellow ranters out there who are fighting for survival, and one of them is Matt Sells, who's a regular on the show. So we will see what's going to happen tonight as well. Heavy T will keep me updated on the Guillotine League update. We're down to 7 people. It's getting crazy. And the waiver wires are like, I have 0 fab. And I'm like, I'll just pick this guy up. I got Chris Godwin for $0. Okay. I know he hasn't been the greatest this year, but it's, a free bench in case something happens. I'm really worried about tight end, but I'll figure that out as we go forward. And as always, Rant on the Street with Thomas Stevens at the bottom of this hour. We're going to talk some inside the NBA. Can I say that? Is that legal? Probably not. We're going to talk about the state of the NBA and do Rant on the Street with the 5 questions you ask on Instagram and TikTok that you want to hear this week. We had really good ones last week, and hopefully we have some good ones this week as well. So like I said, jam-packed show. The big rematch of the Super Bowl. College basketball, NBA, NFL, everything tonight is going to be covered just for you on this good Monday. So let's go into the NBA matchup tonight that's still there. I'm going to give you some free betting advice. So hopefully you can take it for what it's worth. The game tonight between Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. Right now, the Rockets has surprised a lot of people. This game will start around 7 o'clock here, so in about 15 minutes. The Golden State Warriors, you take Curry away from that team, they've been pretty much garbage. I'm not going to lie. They're under 500. They're below the cut line of the playoffs right now. Draymond Green's out choking people. He's out tonight. Houston Rockets has been surprisingly good. The addition of Dillon Brooks, I know we don't like Dillon Brooks here on the show, but he's been a good defensive force there. And Fred VanVleet, plus all the young guys that they have, looked really good, and they're currently sitting in a playoff spot. I don't expect that to correlate to the end of the season, but they're playing good basketball right now, and they're pulling +8 right now at Golden State. Now, 2 years ago, I'd say this is a no-brainer, but you got to look at it a little differently now, right? Now, on the road, Houston, not so good. They're 0-4, so all their wins have been pretty much at home. But their record against the spread is 2-2. You look at Golden State against the spread, they're 1-6 at home. And again, you take Curry out of this lineup, it's not good. It is not good. Klay Thompson's missing a step or two. The bench is bad. It's just not a good lineup, and it's showing. They're not playing good basketball. I think the Rockets keep this close. I'm taking the +8. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'd be comfortable in taking the Rockets +8 tonight against the Golden State Warriors, who's been struggling lately in the last 10 against the spread at 3-7 as well, while the Rockets' last 10 are 7-2-1. So I like that money going towards the Rockets to keep it close here in Golden State. Really huge college basketball game tonight. And one team I really like, I know we haven't really gotten into it too deep. I went pretty deep last year in my runs for college basketball betting. I said a Mountain West team would surprise everyone. I said they're a conference no one's talking about. I love San Diego State out of that. And look what happened. They made all the way to the finals. Professional yapper. Look at that guy. Zad9U88. Professional. He called me a professional yapper. Professional yapper. Well, dude, get a real screen name because that screen name sucks. All right. Here we go. Whatever. No one knows how to say that. 9U88ZDTF. Okay. Sure. Anyways, if you want a winning college basketball bet tonight, here we go. The big game tonight is between Marquette and UCLA. Now, Marquette right now is a team that quietly, after last year, I have pegging them to be in the Final Four. This is a really, and I mean really good team that nobody is really kind of talking about here. They are laying 5.5, so they got 5.5 point favorite over UCLA. UCLA did lose a lot of people to the NBA, some of their best players. They do have some young 5 stars coming up as well, and they're in the running for the Pac-12. Although I think Arizona is the best team, they've already beat Duke once. So it's just a neutral game here because it's not in Marquette, obviously, or UCLA. Right now, they're both 3-0. 5.5, I think, is an awful lot for Marquette, and I really, really like them. 60% of the public is on them as well. And you got UCLA plus 5.5, both undefeated against the spread. 2-1 for Marquette, 1-2 for UCLA, although neither team has really played anybody here. But when I look at the lineups and I look at the movement and I look at everything here, I really do like, okay, the open of this over was 138.5, and it's jumped all the way to 141.5. That's a lot. That's a huge jump. So even though I like Marquette and minus 5.5, I'm not as comfortable as taking the under in this game. Both defensive-minded teams, neutral site, the under of 141.5. That is my bet for tonight's big college basketball matchup, which I'll be watching after the show, or at least the ending of it, if you will. All right, well, with all said and do, we got to get into the rant lances. We're already running out of time because I'm a professional yapper, everybody. Woo! Let's go. All right. If you thought I was yapping earlier, okay, I said his name wrong. I'm sorry. 8 under 88, whatever that means. I don't even know what that meant. Just, don't dish if you can't take it, my friend. And I'm really going to yap now because this is something that just needs to happen. It's come to the point. It's come to tuition, and it hasn't. And I hate it. That's right. It is time to fire Brandon Staley. Please, somebody, fire this man. Why aren't you? Yesterday was an embarrassment. And I'm not even talking about on the field. I'm talking about the way Staley held himself. It was absolutely, utterly embarrassing. First of all, to not even know the problem when your own team, when everybody else can see it. The defense sucks, people. The Chargers' defense is terrible. Since Staley was hired, this so-called defensive mastermind, who was gifted a great defense on the Rams, by the way, gifted, has allowed the 4th most points per game in the NFL since he was hired. Doesn't sound very defensive to me, does it? This year, 31st in EPA per play. It's terrible. He let I can't say this. He let Jordan Love have a career day against his team. Career day. Easily. Every time they got the lead, and this has been a theme, every time the Chargers get the lead, they can't hold it because their defense sucks. Last year, we could have blamed it on Lombardi because he wanted to HB dive after they got the lead. You can't do that this year because Herbert's putting up numbers still. The defense is blowing the games. And this dude has the tenacity to go on live press conference on TV when someone asks, are you going to give up defensive play calling? And this guy goes, had a hissy fit and said, no, I'm going to do it. Stop asking that question. Nah. Your defense sucks, dude. He's like, that's not the reason we lost the game. That is the main reason why you're losing the games. I have eyes. I can see. I watch. You're an idiot. You must have pictures of Spanos somewhere doing something. I don't know. But this team under your guidance is absolute trash and a disrespectful to any Chargers fan or the NFL even. The fact that you even have a job still after all this constant losing after being ahead because your defense can't hold. By the time you're up, you're this defensive mastermind, you should know what the team is scheming already and know how to fix it. Well, I don't know, like every other coach in the NFL, you don't know how to do it. You're in over your head. You had a meltdown yesterday. One could argue I'm having a meltdown now. It's terrible. He needs to go. Just get rid of him. It's done. And even the front office, maybe Telesco should go too. Quentin Johnson could have had Zay Flowers. Quentin Johnson made a drop that was for the ages yesterday. He's made multiple drops for the ages this year. He doesn't look like he's ready to play in the NFL. Could have had Zay Flowers. Took Quentin Johnson. Could have had Jordan Addison. That's Heavy T just told me. He's right. Took Quentin Johnson. We all knew Mike Williams was going to get hurt. And Joey Bosa, wow, he finished. He played his 5 games this year. This team's a joke. Absolute joke. Brandon Staley, you were also a joke. I was going to put this on Case of the Mondays, but I had to lead with this because it's terrible. How does this dude still have a job? I have no idea. This is one of the best quarterbacks of our generation. Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. Like, I don't understand how this team can be coached so badly. And the best part about it, give it a goog after the show. Rex Ryan went on national television this morning and literally said this. He said, I don't know how Staley has a job. He should be coaching. He should go back to Division 3. Maybe he can find a job there. Yes, Division 3. And then said, my wife can coach this team better than Brandon Staley. And I agreed. Speaking of going bye-bye, I'm yapping, Heavy T. I'm yapping. Everyone say bye to Zach Wilson. Finally! Jesus! God. This weekend really irritated me, if you haven't told. This dude sucks, man. Tommy DeVito, an undrafted quarterback, played a better game yesterday against the Commanders than Wilson's played all year. You got Joshua Dobbs, who was thinking he was going to be an astronaut, outperforming Zach Wilson. You got some guy named Tim Boyle. If you look up his stats in college from Connecticut and Western Kentucky, not a good football player, is going to start over him. And Trevor Siemian will be the backup. But is this too late? Why are we doing this? Some teams are really, really just like, okay, it's over. Look at the 49ers. I applaud them for just saying, screw it, we're getting rid of Trey Lance. Good. You should. But for some reason, Saleh and the Jets just kept on rolling this guy out there. And this is not pretty. EPA per dropback is 32nd amongst all the 32 qualified QBs, minus 0.24. That is terrible. His total QB EPA, minus 103.9, 32nd. Passer rating, 73.8. He's only 30th. Completion percentage, 59.2. I don't even know how to explain how bad that is. It's 32nd. And third down conversion percentage, 24.5. 32nd. But it's not like this week was so bad it took him there. It's been like 4 weeks he's been ranked 32nd in all these categories. Now, I wouldn't expect Boyle to do anything, but I will say Boyle had as many completions in one quarter than Wilson did the entire game at that point. There's that. And Wilson, literally to add insult to injury, while backpedaling to try to get the call in the huddle, fell down by himself. Well, he may have just fallen out of the NFL. As for Jets fans, I'm sorry, but you're going to join us lowly Chargers down there, and probably the Cincinnati Bengals, the teams that do not make the playoffs. Speaking of defense, we talked about earlier, and before anyone gives me crap in the chat or whatever, say, I know this is spelled wrong. It's a joke, okay? Deal with it. and if you're in the chat, actually answer this question for me because I want to know. Because a long time ago, defense would win you a Super Bowl title. The Ravens with Trent Dilfer. Can argue the Giants, kind of. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Raiders. Like, there was a time where defense would win championships, but it kind of went away. It's been all the offense, right? Recently, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. Is this a time now, a time where defense, and probably, not going to lie, the best defense we've probably seen in over at least 10 years, maybe even more. The numbers this Cleveland Browns defense is putting up is absolutely, and I mean absolutely insane. Their points per drive, 22.4% of drives, was the lowest among defenses since 2010. That's incredible. It's absolutely insane what Myles Garrett, who, by the way, is going to run away with the defensive MVP. It's not even close. Their EPA is number one, the best we've seen in 10 years. This team is absolutely, this is the Iowa, more on them later, the Iowa of the NFL. And by the way, DTR had a decent game, not the greatest. He had a better game than Zach Wilson. They also could have had him. I could literally name in this year of the most rookie quarterbacks ever starting so far, could literally name 10 quarterbacks better than Zach Wilson, and most of them are undrafted. That is sad. You could have picked Joe Flacco. You could have had Joe Flacco back. Well, he's now on the Browns. But just saying, this defense is putting up record numbers that we haven't seen in a long time, which has always been about offense. In a year where the totals are going under them more than we've ever seen, can this Browns defense take them to a Super Bowl? Because we're seeing these offensive teams like the Chiefs and the Bills and the Bengals now without Joe Burrow the rest of the year, and the Ravens with an up and down offense not do the normal things we're used to seeing. Can DTR and a defense that good just do enough to get them the points they needed even without Nick Chubb? Well, they're in playoff spot now, and I'm going to go on a limb and say they're probably going to make it if you look at the rest of their schedule. And you never know in the playoffs. It's cold, it's wet, snowy, wherever. This team could possibly do enough here to be the first really just only defensive team to make the Super Bowl since the Trent Dilfer-led Ravens did over 15 years ago. So, and I like it. Not going to lie. Real quick of what I learned over the week. I've already told you a few of them. I'm a professional yapper, though, people. I yap because that's who I am. One thing I learned is that this Lions team really likes to be tested in every which way. And when I look at this Lions team for the first time in a long time, obviously, they haven't been this good in forever. Like, this is going to be the greatest Thanksgiving in Detroit ever. Ever. The game is going to be off the hook. The crowd, the emotion, everything. But what I've learned is this team will get tested. And when they get tested, they overcome those tests. They were tested by the Chargers last week. Well, the Chargers defense is so bad that every time the Chargers would get close, they would just say, well, screw it. We're just going to go and, score again. Because they're so bad. But this week, with a returning Fields, DJ Moore back to prime DJ Moore because of it, and really a turnover battle where Goff threw 3 interceptions. Just that mentality of this team to come back and win the game. That's a championship mentality that you see a lot in college. And now we're seeing it in the NFL with the Lions. This team, you could test them how you want, where you want, they'll find a way to win. And I like them, and we'll talk about this more later with Heavy T, but I like them to be in the NFC Championship game just because of the coming through and winning these tests, where I've seen a lot of other teams, like the 49ers, not. So very impressed with what I saw from the Lions. I think the NFC North is theirs. I don't think, I mean, the Vikings lost last night. Obviously, they beat the Bears. I know the Packers beat the Chargers, but I mean, me and Heavy T and Thomas can go out there and throw balls against the Chargers. And Brandon Staley would still want to call calls after we score a touchdown on them. Absolutely terrible. Terrible to say the least. There were some big injuries this week. We will run through them quickly and how I think you could adjust here in your fantasy. A lot of players re-injuring themselves, which I thought was interesting and sad on most parts. Obviously, we talked about Joe Burrow. Another injury for Joe Burrow. He's going to miss the rest of the season. The Bengals are done. I'm sorry. Geno Smith and his elbow. He was able to come back into the game. He did finish the game. Ultimately lost the game. Well, he didn't lose the game. The defense did. But for the most part, they play a rough schedule coming up. More on that later. But he looks like he should be there on Thursday night. Because if you saw Drew Lock when he was in there for the couple of drives, he would give Zach Wilson a run for his money, his worst quarterback in the NFL. Let's just say that. So, Kenneth Walker in that game did leave with an oblique. It looks like he will miss the IR, but it looks like he's not going to play on Thursday. I would be surprised if he did. Get your Zach Charbonnet in now. Unfortunately, they're playing the 49ers defense, so good luck with that. And, of course, Achane, yeah, same knee, by the way. There was positive feedback. It was more of a precaution than anything they said, but it was the same knee. It looks like he should miss IR from what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing, but he may probably miss another week. Ugh, that's rough. Aaron Jones, this one I could have sworn was going to be an MCL and ACL, but it looks like he did not get that, we hope. They're still going to require some MRI and some tender love and care on that. He's already missed already with a knee. Here we go again. Looks like he's going to miss at least a few weeks, maybe an IR stint, which would put him out. They may just say, screw it. We'll just leave him out the rest of the year. I don't know. But Aaron Jones, after that first game where he dominated and looked so good, looks like he's going back for a lengthy absence here. A.J. Dillon, get him where you fit in. Shout out to Too Short, baby. And, of course, Cooper Kupp. Oh, what do we do with Cooper Kupp? If you own Puka Nacua, congratulations, because it looks like you're going to have the Puka show again for the next 3 to 4 weeks. Although Cooper Kupp hasn't been doing much recently, even when healthy, which has been weird. I know injury to Matthew Stafford is kind of the problem with that. So, also, I don't know what to make of this. He's injury prone now, and he shouldn't be drafted in the first rounds next year, even if he is come back healthy. I'm sorry, but if he can't play a full season. But Justin Jefferson got hurt. Yeah, but that's his first injury. This is multiple now for Kupp. And even his rookie season when he was coming on, he also missed 4 weeks with the same type of injury as well. So let's not forget about that. I know he had one of the greatest seasons of all time in fantasy history, but trying to repeat that or expecting that at this point in his career and Matthew Stafford at his age and everything, I don't know if you could expect that going forward. I expect him to miss a few weeks. It is an ankle. I would say 2 weeks for Kupp. And if they're out of the playoffs at that point, which it looks like they will be, maybe the season. But however, Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell should be out there. If Tutu Atwell is out there right now, go grab him. Put him on your bench, because in the fantasy playoffs, especially with that big random bye week late in the season in the first round, could help you out there. Oh, man. So much to talk about. Not enough time. The Kansas City Chieftains, or Chiefaholics, if you will, were able to get another Patrick Mahomes touchdown in. It was to, that's right, your boy, Travis Swift. It went straight to Travis Swift for the touchdown there. So 14-7, the Chiefs over the Eagles. And I'm just going to keep yapping. And when we come back from the break, we're going to be yapping some more. We're going to be yapping some more with my boy, Thomas Stevens, at Better Thomas. We're going to talk a little NBA. We're going to yap about some NBA. And then we're going to yap about 5 questions that you've asked me, people, out there on the gram and on the TikTok. And then we're going to yap some more professionally. Because that's what we do here on Monday Night Rants. Rants on the Street, Tom Stevens. After the break, my fellow ranters. Boom.
From the Hometown Hero series, Zach Parise.
That is a very nice card, and that's one I'll probably have to organize a little trade ski with you, because I would actually like that card.
You got downtown Newark in the background. I mean, Newark has never looked so good.
No, it is not.
We'll put that back up on the screen. I just want to have a penny sleeve ready, and yes, we can absolutely work out a little trade ski for that, because that belongs in a Devil fans collection right there.
I'll trade you the Braden Schneider rookie card for it.
Done.
There we go. The first card-for-card trade on Rip and Rip history. And it was that easy.
It was that easy. That's because, you know what? Because neither one of us are jerks. And it's the same thing when we try and do fantasy trades. Like, we don't try and screw each other. We have conversations. If there's a fit, there's a fit. If it's not, it's not. We don't try and, like, take the other one over the barrel. So there you go. In a penny sleeve. Hometown hero, Zach Parise. He was among the league's most productive goal scorers in 06-07 and followed up with a terrific regular season with an even more impressive postseason. And then they talk about what he did in the first round series against Tampa Bay that year. So that's off to the side for you.
That's true. And, if this is it for his career, he had a hell of a career.
He did.
Hopefully he comes back one more year with the Islanders, but if he doesn't, hell of a run.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants on the Bit Sports Network at FanStar, all your favorite social media platforms. No music after the remix version earlier. We decided we're going to cut music tonight because we're just going to spend all the time we can professionally yapping as we can. I don't know if you saw earlier, but we had someone in the chat saying I was a professional yapper.
I didn't see that.
Username Ogen4U882. He literally Googled, how do I make my username a bot? That's what he did. And that's what he came up with. So kudos to him. And also for deleting all the comments after I called him out. So that's fun too. Anyways, at Better Thomas Stevens, what is going on, my friend? How was your weekend of sports?
It was okay. Saturday was a good UFC card. I had some fun with UFC. College football, my team lost once again. So
you gotta stay tuned for a very special case of Mondays for that one.
I don't know if I can for that one, but I'll try, man. I'll try. But so that was bad. But the Lakers, LeBron beat Dylan Brooks, but it evened out once again on Sunday because my Pittsburgh Steelers lost to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So it was a mediocre weekend, man. It definitely wasn't the best. I'll be honest. So.
Yeah, it was a interesting day of football yesterday all around, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We learned a lot. Like I said, I learned that this Detroit Lions team is very tested and they're already capable to show they can win any type of game, which is scary for the rest of the NFC. In the NBA, I learned that Denver can go through streaks where they lose.
Yeah, for sure.
Surprisingly. And our favorite Oklahoma City Thunder, buddy, they are looking like
damn good team, man.
100% fantastic. 5 in a row here in the NBA. Only behind the Minnesota Timberwolves, surprisingly, but I don't think that lasts as long as I think the Oklahoma City Thunder can last. Can I get some Chet Holmgren love, please?
No, seriously, dude.
Over Wemby. I mean,
they'll never do it, because the NBA loves Wemby, but we see it. We know it. You know what I mean? And I hope everybody else does too.
Chet Holmgren has outplayed Wemby, people. Look up the stats. He has outplayed him through the first month of the season. It's not even close, to be honest.
Yeah. I believe in their matchup too. He outplayed him as well. So
he did as well. So
Chet
Holmgren, baby. I believe the odds are a lot higher now than they were when we started talking.
Yep.
Here
we can pull the clip. We said it a couple times.
Sometimes having players around you that are better helps you become better. And I think that's kind of the issue here. Wemby has nobody around him.
No,
And,
yeah, for sure.
like, look at Scoot Henderson. He's having those same issues there in Portland.
Mhm.
Rough for him. But Chet Holmgren, man, I'm telling you, the real deal. And Milwaukee finally coming to terms of, hey, who they are and winning
Yeah,
some
yeah.
4 or 5 in a
We
row, I
knew
think,
that. That's all
moving
good.
up. But I was right. Slow start, but here we are
Mhm.
in the NBA. Are there any teams here? Obviously, a huge disappointment with the Clippers, but also Golden State at 6 and 8,
Yeah.
4 and 7
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the Clippers here. This rocking that 10-11 spot right now.
Mhm.
I think the
Mhm.
Clippers have a better chance to get out of it. I'm
So do I.
really worried about Golden State. And
So
I
am I.
even took the +8 for Houston tonight in the game
like
that's about to start here.
Mhm.
Because you take Curry away from that team right now, and it is bad. It's
Really
just
rough.
ugly. Do
Really
the
rough.
Golden State Warriors miss out on the playoffs?
I think so. Because for me, it's like just like you said, right? Even when they're all healthy and everyone's there, it's only Curry, unless those occasional games where Klay Thompson pops off at home, and the occasional games where Andrew Wiggins decides to show up, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, though, there's nobody. And then another thing that I add on top of that is there will, knock on wood, I'd never like to, promise this, but there probably will be an injury some way throughout the season with that team, whether it's the Clay to Curry to Wiggins to Chris Paul to whoever it is. So that just takes another thing away. The West is too deep. I think,
Chris Paul's been bad too.
yeah, I don't know what they expected with Chris Paul. What was he gonna really come and change your team, change the narrative, So I think it's time to panic. Trade, maybe I could see a trade. Maybe that's how you get
What
back to
though?
where you are. But
Not
do
this
teams
year.
want your assets? Like
You don't have anything to trade. That's the problem.
no, yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah, those
So
players
it
don't have.
would be trading Paul. It would be trading Thompson. It'd be trading Draymond. It would be trading Wiggins
Mhm.
off your team to present yourself better off for next year at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
You're right.
I think honestly, I look at their team and like one of the only like true valuable pieces that I think somebody besides Curry, obviously, someone will take is Jonathan Kuminga. I think Kuminga is probably like one of the only pieces that I'm like, okay, someone could look at that and be like, I'll take that.
They're not even using them right either.
Yeah, so dude, it's rough, man. It's rough for Golden State for sure.
You know who's not a valuable piece? What I saw today, which will make you laugh, is that the Washington Wizards are already exploring trades for Jordan Poole because I quote, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. He's not long-term material."
Yeah.
Girlfriend, right? It's like a girlfriend. Like,
what was it? Oh, it was the timeout the other day. They're at timeout, and the coach is drawing the play, and he is not in the huddle. He's looking around, and then the coach, like the huddle ends, and he's asking the coach 4 different times, "What's the play?"
And that's why they're looking to trade him. He's not marriage material there, Thomas. He's not. He's Jordan Poole going to move on, probably to Greece. If I had to imagine,
no one's taking him. I don't know who wants that. Huge contract, shooting a lot of shots.
All right, before we get into the 5 questions for Rants on the Street, let me give you this. I'm going to give you the 11 through 15 here in the East, and you tell me which of these teams has the best chance. I think we'll probably be aligned with the same answer to get into a playoff contention here as it stands. Okay. The Toronto Raptors, Chicago Bulls, Charlotte Hornets, Washington Wizards, and Detroit Pistons. Is it set with the top 10 now, or does one of those teams have a chance to actually move up and maybe knock out the Brooklyn Nets or Hawks
that's hard, man.
or Magic? Are the Magic going to keep this up?
I definitely believe in the 10 teams more than anybody that you just named.
You think the Magic are going to keep this up?
Yeah, I do. A little bit more than the teams you just named. I think the Magic are deeper than the teams you just named, and I think the Magic have more of that. They're not win now right now under no circumstances, but they have more pieces of win now mentality than those teams. I think.
Toronto. I think Toronto is going to sell the farm at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
I think
OG's
gone. I think Siakam's gone. I think
yeah. And then
Chicago would be the one that would be like maybe
if they don't ship Levine, but that's going everywhere right now. So that's another reason why I'm like I don't want to say Chicago. Interesting enough, I like the Hornets team. I do. They're just they'll never get over that hump, which sucks. But their team's interesting. Like if Bridges comes back, and which he has already, but if he can come back and like actually be where he was, before all the crazy stuff, then somehow maybe I could see them with health sneaking maybe into a play-in spot.
Health is important,
but I don't know. I think the 10.
They do have probably one of the best up and coming centers in the league though on their team as well. Mark Williams. So I do like that. Yeah. But I don't think that happens. I think the 10 stays where it is. I think Orlando does drop, but to the play-in, because obviously you know how I feel about the Pacers this year, who've been playing really, really good. And the Nets should get it together. The Hawks I'm a little worried about, but I think they'll be fine in the play-in. And Cavaliers, we said this, that they would be a disappointing team after what they've done the last year or 2 years. And sure enough, we were right there, my friend. All right, well, let's move into off the NBA and into some questions. The top 5 questions asked on Rants on the Street, on Instagram, on TikTok, blowing up. Thomas Stevens sliding into his DMs, if you will. And in a good way this time to see who wins a hoodie. We had a really good hoodie last week. I hope the same guy is back with a good question. We'll see how that plays out. So what do you got for me this week, man?
He actually is back. The first question, we have the exact same question, different players that we did last week.
This dude said, I want 2 hoodies.
Start, cut, bench. This one's a little bit better, I think, because the 3 players, there was a drop-off between the 3 players last week.
Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah, exactly. There's these 3, in my opinion, are a little bit tougher. So 3 players, Devin
NBA?
Booker.
NBA, right?
NBA, yes. Start, bench, cut.
Whoa, hello.
So
Family show.
Sorry.
Family show. Family show, Thomas Stevens. I think Heavy T just went, what just happened?
All right. Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards.
We just got more viewers for some reason. I don't even know how that happened.
YouTube is flagging right now, man.
Yeah. Your algorithm went crazy. They said, what?
Oh, man, that's funny. I'm going to have to clip that for my personal humor.
You should. Yeah, send those to your uncle.
Oh, man.
Can you say those again? Sorry, I was a little taken back there.
Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker, and Jason Tatum.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, this one's a lot harder for sure.
I would start Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
I would bench Edwards. I would cut Booker.
So would I. Yeah.
Booker has a little bit of injury issues. He also tends to disappear at times. Tatum does not, and I think Anthony Edwards is on his way. He already showed it to being an absolute superstar. I'm talking could be one of the best 5 players in the NBA. I don't see Booker being one of those players. A little bit older, he has his moments. But yeah, no, I that's what I would do. Start Tatum.
I agree.
Bench Edwards, cut Booker.
I think my cut is 100% with you. I definitely cut in Devin Booker. I think the age is a factor for me, right? He's still young, but he's older than those people. The injuries, the not showing up in the playoffs from time to time, certain things like that kind of gets me to lead towards cutting, But Anthony Edwards, Tatum, that's where it gets a little hard. I'll be honest. That is where it gets kind of tough, But Anthony Edwards, the rising superstar, so I'm gonna have to bench him as of right now. But when he gets to that level, I will probably end up putting him over Jason Tatum for sure.
Yeah, I could see a future where he ends up becoming a better overall player than Tatum, because he has a little bit more intangibles, if you will. He's more exciting. Tatum's not very exciting, right? He just kind of floats around and makes shots and does what he needs to do when he needs to, but his defensive level could improve. Anthony Edwards can play defense, so I agree with you there. So we're on the same page there.
Yep. All right, on to number 2. We're staying in the NBA world. We kind of just touched on it a tiny bit, talking about the Eastern Conference, but where do you think Zach LaVine ends up? Does he stay with Chicago? Does he go somewhere else? What goes on?
Well, it wouldn't be out there if there weren't rumblings, right? Obviously. I think he will go somewhere else. I think Chicago, as we just talked about, they're in kind of time to restart mode here. I know they've talked about the Lakers. That's not a good fit.
As usual.
The same teams. But I really think he would be a good fit in Miami. I really think that's a good spot for him. Obviously, they're behind the 76ers and Milwaukee right now and the Celtics.
Mhm.
which is crazy to say that the 76ers are in there, but man, they're playing really good basketball.
Mhm.
And it shows that James Harden's not valuable. But
For sure.
that makes
Mhm.
me sad. I almost just cried. But I really think a player like him just to go in there and take some pressure off of Jimmy Emo Butler, Jimmy Butler World, as Heavy T would say. Although I'm really disappointed he didn't leave that look. I wanted to see what it looked like on the court.
Yeah.
That would have been incredible. But no,
Shoots
he
with
went
gray
back
hair
to
flops.
yeah, just on the free throw.
Yep. Yeah.
Blowing the backward flock of seagulls up before he made the free throw. That'd be great.
That would have been
But
hilarious.
I think that's a really good fit for Levine. I really do. And I think, you lost out on the Dame
Yep.
sweepstakes. I think that would be a good in-season ad to kind of help build the depth you need and get you in that top 4. So I think that's a good spot for him. I think that's where he should go. I think they should be looking at him too.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. I think Miami's definitely my number one because they're still sitting on the assets that they had put together and,
Mhm.
all this stuff for the Dame trade, and then it didn't work out. So it's not Damian Lillard, but it is still an all-star caliber player. You probably give maybe less than what you were gonna give for Dame. So you're right here for this trade. I don't see why they wouldn't make this trade. You're not going to come out of the East again if you don't make this trade, in my opinion. So that's my number one. I would say my sleeper team, and this probably will not happen, but I do think it's interesting to see what they do, is New York. I think the Knicks have pieces. They've kind of been looking for an all-star, right? Like to pair with Randall and Brunson and stuff like that. And I think it would be a good fit. Honestly, I think it would be a solid fit, and they have the assets for it. So I think those two are the favorites. I think they'll push the Lakers narrative because it's LeBron, because it's the Lakers, and it doesn't make any sense. The guy
It makes zero sense.
it makes zero freaking sense.
sense.
It's another ball dominant player. It makes no sense at all. Alex Caruso makes sense. If you want to go do that and you want to go get Caruso back, go ahead. But do not do Zach LaVine. So, and I would say the Warriors. Honestly, I still will say the Warriors, but they don't have the assets. That's where it kind of drops off. If they did, I would say 100% he fits their scheme. The shooting aspect of the way he plays basketball would fit perfectly with Curry. But they don't have enough to give up. So
what's going to happen when the Warriors don't have two of the greatest shooters we've ever had of all time? Because
You're gonna
nobody
see
else has those.
that's for sure.
There's nothing else there.
You grab
Like,
up.
yeah.
And
it's-
Steve Kerr is going to, for once in his life, without the best point guard.
Oh,
arguably,
when Curry leaves, Steve Kerr's retiring. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, he better retire because he'll take,
he's not-
take a lot of hate too.
He's not going to take on
career
that. Nobody
standing.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. But also I think
I like the
he
Knicks.
could also stay.
The problem with the Knicks is they never have a number one, right? They always have great number twos,
Yeah.
which they have two great number twos,
Yeah,
but never
for
a one.
sure.
They did have the greatest number one of all time, and Jeremy Lin for a week, but that was cool. But other than that, it's, Amari Stoudemire was never a number one. Carmelo Anthony's shown that he couldn't carry number one. He needed Porzingis too. You just don't have that. He never had with the Knicks. Adding Levine, you would just say, I don't know. I like it, and they have been playing better lately, the Knicks. But I just don't see
for sure. I get what you mean. My thing is with the Knicks is I like what you're saying because I agree with you. I think it's been so long that like they missed out on Kyrie, they missed out on KD. They thought they were getting Zion, they didn't get Zion. Like there's just so many things that
they didn't get LeBron, they got Melo.
There you go. Yeah, they got Melo. Like there's just so many.
Sorry, that was the
things
Nuggets, not
have
the
been
Knicks, but you know what I mean.
So, I don't know, man. I think if you're gonna make a trade, Levine's there. You could stack the good number twos and maybe go on a run. But maybe go get someone on the Raptors. Like maybe build your depth a little bit more if you're the Knicks. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll
something.
be in the running, but we'll see. Yeah, it's just
all those main teams are always in the running.
And Barrett, RJ Barrett, it's just like a bunch of number twos, like no big superstar, right? Like none of them are exciting. Randall is not exciting. RJ Barrett's not exciting. Jalen Brunson is definitely not exciting. It's like he's a great player. They're all good NBA players, right? They're all good players, and they get minutes and they put up points because they get minutes because they don't have much.
Well, Thibodeau also plays his starters. I mean, like 40.
Yeah. But they're great fantasy players. They're great fantasy players.
Yeah, for sure.
They just need that. They finally need that superstar.
I agree.
And if they don't get it, it's just gonna be the same old Knicks. Anyways, let's move on from the Knicks. I don't know. We went from Zach LaVine to just talking crap on the Knicks real quick.
New York.
Shit happens.
Number 3. I love this one, but so thank you for who asked this question. I forget who you are, but can LeBron James this year be in an MVP conversation at the age he is?
No. I mean, it's good. It's going to Europe, my friend. I'm sorry. The MVP award is going to Europe.
Yeah,
in some fashion, whether it's Serbia or Greece or wherever Joel Embiid is from. It's going over there.
All three, United States, Africa.
Yeah, so I don't see it. I mean, yeah, he's for his age though, he's played out of his mind. Let's be real. He's going to break a bunch of records. But I don't think he's at the MVP level of Luka, of
100%.
Giannis, of the Joker, Embiid, Tatum. Even Tatum, I think, has a better chance of the MVP this year. I just don't see it. Sorry. Maybe you think differently, but I just don't see it.
Look, like my thing is if the question was can he win MVP, then I would be strictly no. Because the question says conversation, I'll say yes. He can be in the conversation if my biggest thing, what numbers he's going to put up. He's going to put up MVP numbers. They're there. It's just the Lakers' record. That's the biggest thing. Are the Lakers?
I don't think he's going to put up the same numbers as those other guys I mentioned, though.
I mean, I think Tatum, yes. I think he'll put up around the same as Tatum. I think Jaylen Brown's ball dominance will be there. But I agree with you. I think Luka, Giannis might get a little subsided because of Dame, but he still will put up more. But Jokic, those guys are more for sure.
Jokic is like guaranteed almost the MVP. It's like crazy.
That's my thing is like it's Jokic for years until someone like Jokic comes in. I don't know how, you know what I mean? Or until Denver sucks. Until Denver sucks, there's nobody else going to get the award. So
it's going to be a while.
It's tough, man. It's tough. But I will say yes to the question. I think that if the Lakers somehow can be
he'll be in the top 10 odds list. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Well, there you go. That's a safe bet. That's a lock.
Yeah.
That's a lock. All right. On to number 4. Oh God. This one really pains me. NFL. What happens this offseason to Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh?
Well, what happened yesterday in between games after Red Zone ended and before the great Sunday night game that they should have flexed between the Denver Broncos and the Josh Dobbs led. By the way, shout out to Josh Dobbs though, but led Minnesota Vikings. I did watch a game up north where they could have used a quarterback in the Grey Cup in Canadian Football League. So I asked myself this. I say, can Kenny Pickett make that pass? Oh no, man, it's pretty pathetic. I'm not gonna lie.
It's horrible. It's horrible, man.
I don't know. Everyone likes to blame Canada, ironically enough.
Yeah. It's easy.
And I did not plan for that to happen. I'll tell you that right now. But I don't know, man. At some point, you got to look on paper and say, I don't know. You got weapons, Pickens. What Deontay Johnson did absolutely nothing, nothing. Yep. Right?
Your top 10.
Freiermuth just came back from IR.
Yep.
Warren and Najee Harris, like you're on paper, your offense should be really good. It's same with the Jets, right? I give a lot of crap to Zach Wilson, but maybe you got to look at Kenny Pickett too. He had one of the top 5 worst QBRs in the NFL this year. Can't lie. So maybe it's, but at the same time, you guys are still over 500 in a playoff spot right now. It's crazy.
I know. It's insane, dude. It's crazy. Yeah.
But I don't know. That's how I feel. I don't think he's an NFL caliber quarterback. Not even an Alex Smith, right? With the right team around him that you can still go to the playoffs. I thought he had to come out this year firing to show.
Yep.
Just don't see it. His awareness level is zero.
Horrible. It is horrible.
Straight zero. And you have to have awareness to be a quarterback in the NFL. And what I've seen over the last 11 weeks and even last year is not getting better with that aspect. So I think maybe he becomes a bench quarterback at best next year. I don't think they roll with him again. We'll see what happens. What do you think?
Look, what I think and what's going to happen, honestly, is probably going to be two completely different things because I know how the Steelers roll. The Steelers are the most old school, stay within your organization, believe in your players franchise in the league by far. They don't move on from players very quick. Tomlin is expressed his, advocacy for Kenny Pickett, being a huge fan of Kenny Pickett. But it's horrible, man. It is absolutely horrible. I have been this guy's biggest fan. I have supported him. People talk a lot of crap, and I have said, give him a capable offensive line and a capable offensive coordinator and let me see what can do. But the last, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks, 3 weeks, since honestly, which is weird, since Canada has came on the sideline, the play calling has been still horrible, still a low-level NFL team, but it has been better. I have seen open throws that you should be able to make, and he does not make them. There's no throws in the middle of the field with the Pittsburgh Steelers whatsoever. It's either George Pickens deep, Deontay comeback, something that is outside the numbers. It can never be inside the numbers, and that's not even a high school offense. You know what I mean? It's miserable. It's good to see that the running game is getting going. The defense, I feel so bad for them every week without Minkah Fitzpatrick, without both of our starting middle linebackers. Yes, they had DTR, but you still held the team to 13 points. And, your team cannot score not 2 touchdowns in a game. It's got to be Jalen Warren breaking one for 73 yards.
By the way, he was outplayed by DTR.
Yeah, no, and that's what you've continuously seen. And it's like we're 6-4. And my last thing I'll touch on with this season is, we're 6-4 right now. I don't know if people remember when we were 11-0 in 2020. I said it when we were 11-0 in 2020. I'm saying it again right now. It's the biggest 6-4, 11-0 phony you've ever seen in your life. The schedule that we have is absolutely easy, and that's called Mike Tomlin playing and out-coaching bad coaches and bad teams. When we play legit teams, I know we beat the Ravens. That's called a divisional game. When we walked and played Jacksonville, you saw what happened. We go play Kansas City, you'll see what happens. We are not legit under any level. I don't care what we end the season on. It's a first-round exit. I don't care. The draft this offseason, there's more quarterbacks coming in that I have seen, and I don't know how long. You need to go get a quarterback. It's
well, okay.
This isn't Steelers football, man.
Stan Hill there in the chat makes an interesting question here with free agency and the Steelers. Hear me out here. What if, and I was actually thinking about you and this the other day when I thought of this. What if with the talent that they have around him, they brought in Kirk Cousins?
That's interesting. I'm not against it. I just think you take a step backwards. I don't think like I just don't think that's
with Deontay Johnson.
I've
with
known
Pickens.
the Steelers for a long time.
You think Kirk Cousins would be a step backwards?
That's not a Steelers move. That's my thing. That's not a Steelers move. The Steelers don't make
the defense, and you have the offensive weapons around you.
No, they do.
Now.
Yeah.
Your quarterback is the weakest link.
I promise you. Do not put your money on that because the Steelers will not go out in free agency and spend more money than what they've spent in their career of being the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't do it, and they won't do it. They believe in finding their guy in the draft, having him be their quarterback for as long as can be, and building this organization that they have for so many years.
Like Ben Roethlisberger, right?
That's the goal.
Do you remember? Are you old enough to remember a man named Tommy Maddox?
I know he was trash. I know he wasn't very good.
Oh, whoa!
I know my guy replaced him.
Tommy Maddox had one of Tommy Maddox had one of the best fantasy quarterback years of all time for the Steelers. It was incredible. Sure. He was an incredible story. And then he was trash. And then Roethlisberger did replace him, right? So imagine this, right? You had Roethlisberger for so long in your Steelers career that you go to Pickett, he sucks, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's why
but your team are still winning games.
Yeah, no, we're spoiled.
Imagine having franchise quarterbacks forever, and your team still sucks. Welcome to Chargerville, my friend.
It sucks, man. I don't know. It sucks.
We went from Drew Brees to Phillip Rivers to Justin Herbert. We did have a little bit of Tyrod Taylor. We had one game in between of Tyrod Taylor, and they won that game, by the way. But yes, that is what it looks like. That is,
I tell you, man, for sure.
It's crazy how the fan bases work, right? Your team is still really good. You put Justin Herbert on that team right now with that defense.
Oh, that's a championship team. It's a
championship team.
Yeah,
right.
100%. Yeah, me and my friend we were talking about that.
I got it. Maybe next year up there north in Canada, Matt Canada can coach an offense, and Brandon Staley can coach a defense.
That's what both of them go
on the same
Get the hell
team.
away.
The
Yeah.
Montreal Alouettes or whatever the
There
hell
you
they
go.
are.
That's where the hell they belong.
Kenny
That's
Pickett
where
at
they belong.
quarterback.
And Kenny Pickett at quarterback. There you go, dude. Quentin Johnston will be the receiver. No problem. Sorry, but I know we're kind of running short.
You're good. Yeah, well, no, it's fine.
For sure. Number 5. I hate this question because I'm going to be very quick on this part, so we'll see what you say. But are the Buffalo Bills back?
What?
Yeah. That's...
All right, hold on. Whoever asked that question, here's all I'm going to say. All right. When I was a kid, I was really good at baseball, right? Like really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying that, like me going out right now and saying, hey, 2-year-old, come here. Let's play baseball and see who's better. I'm going to beat the heck out of you, and then I'm back, baby. No, they're the same Bills.
I 100% agree, man.
I'm sorry, you just beat Zach Wilson. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and Zach Wilson even got hurt too. So it's like
no, he didn't.
Not even the whole thing.
He wasn't hurt. He was benched, my friend. He sucked straight balls.
Yeah, no. This question.
Did I say that? I don't know. We've already said a lot of things here, so I guess I can say that.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. I know.
It could never get any worse. So
I used like all of them up for today. That was like the most obsessive one you could have used.
I mean, they look good. Yeah, I'll give them that, right? And
yeah.
I will say I'm going to give them some credit. I was just kidding with the whole Jets being the 2-year-old that I'm playing baseball with, but that's how it seemed. But the Kent Dorsey firing to, you know, it to Brady, it seemed better. It wasn't just Josh Allen throwing the ball down the field every time. They actually got a running game established with James Cook.
Yeah,
but again, I know how bad the rushing defense is for the Jets. But they strategically attacked what they needed to, and it worked. So I think they will be better now because of it. And I think I'm not saying they're back because there's still a lot of holes in that injury-ridden defense, and other quarterbacks of their offenses can really exploit that. But they're off to a good start after what happened. I'll give them credit where credit's due there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the offense looked better. I think it looked more organized. Like you said, it wasn't just 50-yard bombs the whole time, which is nice to see because they're an explosive team. I mean, their offense everyone's still there. Just figure it out, you know. But are the Bills back? No, they're not back. They just beat, like you said, a 2-year-old in the New York Jets.
It's like that kid who holds the smaller kid's head, and he's like, "Yeah, let me at him." He's just missing. He's like,
Yeah, like they say, stealing candy from a baby, man. I mean, you beat the Jets. So their defense.
The Chargers also killed the Jets too. It's not like it's hard to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So that says something. But yeah, that's my thing. They're not back. They're not going to be legit. Their defense needs.
Didn't the Jets beat them week 1? Whatever
they did.
The Aaron Rodgers.
That was like that was weird.
Yeah,
that was weird. It was like the Aaron Rodgers was still in the air. You know,
okay, he was there. Yeah. He had a great play. He had a great play.
Back? What's going on?
I doubt it.
He's throwing. This is insane. Like he's actually crazy. Like
I mean, no reason to bring him back. And
that's what I was going to say. If the Jets had a reason, like, do you think he'd come back?
No, I don't think Tim Boyle or Trevor Simeon's gonna.
No, yeah, I know, but it is kind of crazy, like to see how. Fast
I guarantee you, Tim Boyle will have a better QBR next week.
than Zach Wilson.
Wilson. On Friday, right? They play Black Friday, right?
Yeah. Watch. Yeah. Like, last thing I want to say is I swear, a couple more weeks of this BS for Steelers football. Don't give me Mitch Trubisky. Give me Mason Rudolph. I swear to God. Mason Rudolph.
You want Mason?
I want over Mitch 100%. One thing about Mason that I will say is he will
still
sit
have to play
in
the
there
Browns
and throw the ball. Yes. No,
dude,
hey,
just
we're good on the Browns. We're good.
Hey, don't put Mason Rudolph in the
good on
Browns
the
game.
We're good on the
He
Browns.
may have some
We're good on the Browns.
PTSD there or something.
Did you see Myles Garrett pick a helmet?
He did.
All the Steelers players were like,
he's like, no. That was pretty funny. But he was laughing about it. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess
Well,
I'll
that is
give a helmet out, huh? We're gonna go. I can't get this. I'm pretty sure the same guy asked to start bench cut because I gave him props last week. So I'm gonna go with where is Zach LaVine going tonight?
I like that.
For the hoodie. All right, my friend, get your questions in. It will. Get your questions in at Better Thomas on Instagram, TikTok. I actually want to talk to you about something a little strategic. We may be doing a little bit more than just this show together here. I want to talk to you about. We'll do it off screen. We'll leave the ranters guessing. There's an opportunity there on Instagram for me and you maybe to do some fun in the NBA here going forward. And not about the stupid play-in, which is just all we're going to do is change the courts and make you hate to watch this game. Or not play-in, but in-season tournament, which is absolutely trash. Stupid. But all right, man.
Stupid too, so it's okay.
Where is Zach Levine going, Hoodie? Get your questions in for next week.
Sure.
Hey, man, enjoy your Thanksgiving with you and your family.
Thank you. You too, man. You too.
Get a good meal in, get some good drinks in you, watch some football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have a good Black Friday. Don't spend all your money on cheap TVs. And make sure you watch Oregon beat Oregon State Friday night because you're gonna love it.
For sure. Let me know what the Thanksgiving bets we got running. Let me know. We got some NCAA next segment. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 NCAA football games for the rivalry week this week. Sure. You're gonna want to check out. And then also Heavy T is going to be joining me, so you never know where we're going to go. He's going to bet against Colorado and against USC, and USC doesn't even have a game. So, and they'll still find a way to not cover the spread. All right, man.
I got to say real quick, and this will make you laugh. I'll see you next Tuesday, my friend.
Wait, huh?
Exactly. All right, buddy. Love you, brother. Have a good Thanksgiving, man. Bye. I bet Heavy T got that joke. We'll see after the break. After the break, we're coming back. NCAA rivalry. Heavy T's laughing. Rivalry week. We got to talk about some of our best bets for the big games this weekend. And a little preview of what we think is going to be in store for all the championship games here in college. And then we're going to say what say ye, Heavy T, on his surprise AFC championship game pick, which we'll try to see what that is. What say ye, Heavy T? I'm going to want to know what that is, too. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is when Heavy T gets on the mic in case of the Mondays. And as always, we'll keep you updated with the game as it's currently going on. It is still 17-7, Chiefs over the Eagles. After the break, some college football magic. It's rivalry week, baby. Boom.
The Bears have to be one of the most inept franchises of any sport I've ever seen in my entire life. And they share the city with the White Sox, who are also inept. Like, that is how bad the Bears are. I just don't understand how you can go your entire existence and the quarterback that wins you a Super Bowl is Jim McMahon. You couldn't find anybody else.
They don't have a good history with quarterbacks, but they let him be the quarterback for a long time, too.
Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes right there. Mm-hmm. And you drafted Mitch Trubisky. They were right there. There's a lot of pain in being a Falcons fan. The Bears are one of the teams I could argue they might have it worse, and they have a Super Bowl. And when the best quarterback in the past 50 years is Jay Cutler, you have a problem.
That's so funny that you just said that. We were talking about Jay Cutler the other day, me and my friend, and I was like, yeah, he was on, because we were watching the Colorado Rockies game against the Giants, and it looked like he was behind the thing. I was, he played for Denver most of his career. We looked it up. Chicago let him be their starting quarterback way too long.
Here's the thing, too, is that Jay Cutler wasn't bad. Like, he was erratic. He wasn't terrible, though.
The poor man's Brett Favre.
I'm taking him over Justin Fields. I'm sorry.
I would.
But Jay Cutler led that team to an NFC title game that they lost to Green Bay. But he's gotten farther than anybody else. You want to know who the other starting quarterback was for the Bears in the other Super Bowl appearance they made? It was Rex Grossman. What are we doing out here? It was Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton was the backup. How are you that bad? Bro, oh my God. Listen to the top 5. According to Football Reference, the top 5 greatest Bears quarterbacks of all time. Jay Cutler, number 1.
I can't believe it.
Sid Luckman, who last played in 1950, is number 2. Jim Harbaugh is number 3. Jim McMahon, the Super Bowl winner, is number 4, and he played there for 6 years. And Mitch Trubisky,
no way,
is number 5 on the list as terms of passing yards go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants. Travis Kelce just limped off the field on third down play. Got to worry about that a little bit. Joining me here for some NCAA talk. By the way, Heavy T, I have to tell you, on the Lisa Ann show here on the Better Sports Network, there was a Bears fan in the chat that was really offended that every time he watched the show, he had to watch that timeout. So, yeah.
Oh, it'd probably help if I didn't mute myself, but that's hilarious. That's actually really funny.
They finally replaced it this last week, so we're no longer on the Lisa Ann.
Well, you know what? Root for a better team, man, or don't be soft. One of the two. Not my fault. Your team sucks.
We're going places. Though.
Oh,
people are talking about it.
Pissing people off left and right. Apparently, jeez Louise, man, love it. In the words of LeBron James, smiling through it all. I can't believe this is my life, man. Let's go.
and also, is Thomas Stevens gonna get canceled?
You know what? I heard what I heard. It wasn't a Rachel slur. I think we're okay.
Okay, I think we're good. All right.
We're good.
Hey, in England, they'll be like, yeah!
Yeah. We're great with the English community, our English show of record.
Yeah. Anyways, my friend, how was your weekend of sports? Well, obviously not good, but how was your weekend of sports? Otherwise, how was your weekend? Are you ready to talk some NCAA football?
Ready to talk some NCAA football, but as for how my weekend goes, it's very peaceful. You know, it's very nice when your horrid football team has a bye and you're just not stressing. So I was able to relax, actually enjoy some good games yesterday. Watch that god awful whatever that Brown Steelers game was. That thing was horrid. But you know, it felt nice. Like, you know what? I don't have to worry. I can sit here and you know what? I'm free. For one day, I'm free. And it was beautiful. It's a blessed feeling. And of course, the feeling of stress immediately comes back because not only are the Falcons back, but I look who they're playing. Oh, it's the Saints, our arch rival, and first place is on the line. Cool. Love that for me. So yeah, it's yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
What's your Thanksgiving plans? You got anything good? Your family, everything?
Yeah, dinner at home with the fam. That'll be fun. Might work a tiny bit, but other than that, you know, just cleaning, typical stuff.
I would imagine Thanksgiving with the Soto family isn't quite the thing. I could.
It can be hectic at times for sure. I think the biggest crowd we've had at my house for Thanksgiving has to be like maybe close to 25, 30 people.
Woo.
So yeah, big. Well, I mean, we make up a third of that, so it is what it is.
Oh, good, man. Shout out to your family. I hope you have a really good Thanksgiving and enjoy the weekend of football and everything we got going on this week. And you know what? Thank you for everything you do on the show and being a part of Monday Night Rants with me. I think everyone enjoys it. I know I do. And there's my thanks to you, my friend, and for Thomas Stevens as well. For his
appreciate that. Hey, thanks for giving us an opportunity to come on, man. It's been a blast so far.
Oh man, we ain't stopping. We ain't stopping, never stopping, baby. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep on going.
Speaking of keep on going, I do have a very quick Thanksgiving parlay. If you'd like me to throw that out there.
All right.
So, Lions Packers. We got Lions -7.5, and we got the under, which is 46.5.
You're parlaying same game.
Parlaying all three together.
Okay.
So we got 6 legs. So Lions -7.5. Under 46.5. We got Commanders +10.5.
I don't like that.
Over 48.5.
I do like that.
Yeah. And then we're going to finish it off at the night. Now, I actually just flipped because when I looked at this last night, the spread was 6.5. It has moved up to 7.
Indeed.
Because of that, I'm flipping.
So we have Seattle not guaranteed to play.
Yeah, we have Seattle +7. Over 42.5.
I like the +7 right now because I think Geno Smith will play. I really do. Yeah. So you're getting a good value now on that, and I would smash that now because I think he came back in and played, right? And that's without.
He did, yeah.
So and obviously it worked for the most part. He was zipping the ball down the field. He was throwing it fine with his shoulder. I know they ultimately lost in the end, but that wasn't all on him. But if he does sit out and it is Drew Lock, you're in a lot of trouble. But take that risk now, I think, with that. And I do like the under on that as well.
It's funny how much that half point makes a difference, because originally I was on Niners -6.5. Now that it's moved up literally a half point. Yeah, the 7 changes everything. So we're going to go Seattle +7 over 42.5. So quick recap: Lions -7.5, under 46.5 for that game.
I like that.
Commanders +10.5, over 48.5 for that game. It's a division game. They play them well. Not sold on Dallas's defense all that much.
Ooh, not a good matchup for the Commanders, I think. I just
we'll see. And then Seattle +7 over 42.5 in that one.
Over 42.5?
Over 42.5, yeah.
Okay.
Because you're just asking each team to be what score? You're asking for the final score to be what, 22-21? That'll happen.
Yeah, I can see that. I actually do like that over. Now that I think about it, it could go one way or the other two. So yeah, I like that.
And so here's the other thing too, is that when San Francisco pours it on, they don't let up. They keep going. And especially in a divisional game, you're going to want to make a statement. If it ends up getting out of hand, they'll keep going.
Yeah, we saw earlier when he was like, screw it, we're going to give our best player a touchdown, even if it risks injuring him when you're up by so much. So
well, you saw that, but you saw it earlier this year when they played Dallas on that Sunday night game. And they just killed them by like 45.
But also, Dallas does the same thing too, where they're up there.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a great name. D's nuts. My name is Jeff. Dude, what's going on tonight? It's crazy.
Love a guy named Jeff.
Is he going to send Nico as soon Nico Collins for Jerome Ford? You are not, my friend. You are not.
I would not do that. No, I would not do that.
Hold on to Nico, especially Dynasty for sure. But if it's just even for the rest of the year, I know the trade deadline is like tonight, really. Do not send Nico for Ford, because Kareem Hunt's real, man, and he's cut into half his carries there. And
on top of that, Nico Collins, like I know he had a slowish game this past week against the Cardinals. That's because Tank Dell went wild.
He's quietly consistent, though. Like very quiet.
Yeah, no, Nico Collins has been pretty consistent this year, and he does have those games where he goes off. I'm trusting him over Jerome.
Yeah, I am too. D's nuts. My name is Jeff. That's a great name.
Don't do it, Jeff. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Keep Nico,
Don't do it,
man.
my friend.
Nico Collins. I actually traded in my Dynasty because Garrett Price on the Dynasty Nerds told me I actually traded my next year first-round pick for Nico in my Dynasty League. That's how much I trust him. And
yeah, I was producing that show, and I actually did something really similar in a current league. I sent out a trade wasn't able to get Nico, but I was able to include or have my opponent, I should say, include Tank Dell in a trade package that's centered around Tua. So that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and CJ Stroud's the real deal, and he's going to be throwing the ball to Nico Collins and Tank Dell a lot for the next couple of years. So either one of those guys you want, especially in Dynasty for sure, but even for the rest of this year, I think Nico would be better off for your playoffs than Ford. Especially Kareem Hunt has slowly been taking more and more, and it was straight 50-50 this last week. I know Ford got the touchdown, but Hunt had the same amount of carries, I think more yards. So I think
Andre Swift breaking off a big run here. Eagles have the ball at Kansas City.
You're behind me because
Hurts
just ran in for a touchdown, my friend.
Oh no, I'm very behind.
Hurts just ran for a 10-yard touchdown. It's 17-14. We'll assume he makes the extra point here. I know what you do when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me. I get it, but
I was
it's a good game.
2 plays behind. I just saw that right now. I'm about 2 plays behind. Damn you!
By the way, it's looking like this is going to be another primetime game where the under hits. It's like hitting under on Thursday night games and Monday night games and Sunday night games at like a 85% clip this year, no matter how low they make it.
I don't know what to say about the Monday and Sunday night games, but the Thursday night games have, for the most part, been awful. They've been so bad.
Yeah, and all the injuries we had last week, it was finally a good matchup on paper, but look what happened. We lost Mark Andrews for the year, allegedly.
I mean, that's what Thursday night. Honestly, if I'm Goodell, and this will never happen, because there's way too much money invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Goodell or I'm the commissioner, no more Thursday night games, period. Because with the only ones would be Thanksgiving. That's it.
Yeah.
And then
you mean like how it used to be when it was fine?
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah. We all lived. We were fine.
Yeah,
I'll watch some action.
Dude,
I'll watch some action on Thursday night. I have no problem with that. So like it's fine. It's just we'll occasionally have a couple games on Saturday once college football wraps up. So basically starting next week, let's get a couple games on Saturday. And that's it. This Thursday night football is so unnecessary.
So terrible. So terrible. It used to be like the very I don't even mind like the very first game of the season being the ring ceremony for whoever won the Super Bowl, having that Thursday night game.
That first game I'm fine with.
Yeah, that's fine too. What about Flowers for Ford? Zay Flowers? What is this guy?
Flowers.
Hey.
Okay, so okay.
These nuts, my friend. These nuts.
I'll say this.
What's your running back situation like?
Yeah, if you really want Jerome Ford, then your running back situation must be awful.
Yeah, I need to know what his running back situation is.
Let me hear the running back situation, and then I'll give you my answer on Flowers for Ford. Nico is a straight no.
Yeah, Flowers is more intriguing. Yes.
Let me hear. If all your running backs are like backup dudes, then okay.
If he had Achane and Kyron.
Yeah, Achane would be a good example. Yeah. If it was something like that, but
although Kyron should be back next week.
Yeah, get back to us on that running back room, and we'll get back to you.
We'll wait for D's nuts. My name is Jeff. We have the greatest ranters here in the chat. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. Let's talk a little college football and get some betting in here for everybody out there. The first game I want to talk about, and really don't want to talk about it because you know how much I hate this team. Absolutely hate this team. But it's just so intriguing because the total is the lowest I've ever seen in the history of football.
I hate Iowa. I hate Iowa.
Can we stop with the Big Ten? Are they going to switch that next year where the West and the East or whatever, the North and the South, whatever, play each other in the championship game? Iowa is going to play the winner of Michigan and Ohio State for a championship. Why? It's so
basically the winner of this weekend is guaranteed a national title shot with the playoff.
Not national title shot, but they're guaranteed.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Real quick. So we have a 14-man roster. 14
Saquon and White, Rashad White, which is great.
I'm trying to sell Saquon for Kupp and Njoku because I lost Goddard.
Well, Kupp's hurt. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't send Puka. Oh, my goodness.
Puka for DeAndre Swift. If this is a redraft league, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, but he lost Kupp though, and he has Flowers and Nico though. But I'm trying to sell Saquon for Kupp. Don't get Kupp. Kupp's hurt. He's going to miss a few weeks at least.
Okay.
Right now.
No, keep Saquon, keep Rashad White, trade Puka for Swift. I would actually trade Puka for Swift, and I would keep Flowers and Nico. That's my honest opinion.
That's what I would do too.
The Goddard 100%. One,
Swift will help you. Yeah, Goddard sucks.
You know what? I'm gonna throw this out. It might not be there because this is a 14-man league. If Logan Thomas is on your waiver wire, go grab him. I don't know if he is in a 14-man, but you never know. Yeah,
that's tough losing Goddard, man. That sucks. Like, really, it does. Because then you
if you're trading a receiver, definitely trade one of the receivers for a tight end.
He has Saquon, White. He's trying to get Ford. I would just punt the tight end because everyone else. Remember, Mark Andrews is gone for the year. After Kelsey, tight ends, you could pretty much just match up, pick them each week. Who's playing?
Yeah, I remember. I remember Andrew Cooper telling me a stat where it was last year's tight ends. I think between tight end 6 and tight end 13, there was only a 10-point difference.
Yeah, I would do Puka. I would do Puka for Swift to keep the rest of the team. It should be fine.
I would do Puka for Swift immediately, and then keep the rest. Now the comment under that from Caden
Caden the Colts fan.
This is an interesting keeper league trade. Offered Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm assuming that's Garrett Wilson
Yes.
For Christian McCaffrey and Mike Evans, it got accepted.
So he got McCaffrey and Evans?
Yes.
Person has Njoku also has Thomas.
I would actually trade for Logan
Caden.
Thomas over Njoku. I'm going to be honest with you. I would actually have Logan Thomas instead. I think you
Definitely.
can get him cheaper, and I think he has more consistency.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Offer Gibbs, and I'm assuming that's Garrett Wilson.
Considering the quarterback of the Commanders has like the second most pass yards in the league, I would definitely do that.
I mean, okay, so for the keeper league one,
wait, I offered Gibbs and Wilson, so he gave Jahmyr Gibbs and Wilson for McCaffrey and Evans. It got accepted, so he got McCaffrey and Evans. He won, 100%.
If that is, I mean, it's interesting because it's a keeper league, but if that is indeed Garrett Wilson, Mike Evans is so consistent every single year.
Well, yeah, but is he trying to win now, or is he trying to rebuild?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if your team's a contender, then yeah, you absolutely won that trade.
Yeah,
I think so. And I think it actually works out for both parties because if the guy who has McCaffrey and Evans is giving him up, he's probably building for next year. He's probably not a contender. So I'm actually fine with that. I think that's a good trade.
I think it's a good trade too. Also, these nuts. My name is Jeff. Cup might not miss any time, but he's going to be playing hurt on that ankle, and we've already seen what he's done the last few weeks. He hasn't been great. Let's be real. He hasn't been putting up those numbers you're used to.
What? I'm gonna actually throw something out there. So instead of sending Puka for Swift, I would maybe see if they would take Zay Flowers. If they say no, then send Puka. But you said the person who has Njoku also has Logan Thomas. If you have any extra players, trade them for Logan. I'm not big. I've never been big on Njoku. I've always liked Logan Thomas more though.
Yeah, Njoku, especially the quarterbacks, like you can't, right? Logan Thomas.
Well, I mean that plays a part of it, but like Logan Thomas, no matter who his quarterback is, he's always just very quietly consistent. So.
Caden said win now, so
you're in a win now. You're good.
Caden,
you won that.
Caden gets an air horn. Caden gets an air horn for that trade.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty. I think that's a really good trade for both sides. That's pretty fair.
Good job. I should be putting this on the screen. I forgot about that. I can do that now.
Oh yeah, we can do that. I totally forgot we could do that on the screen.
Here we go.
Okay, the 14-man roster is Purdy, Saquon, Rashad White, Tajay Spears, Puka, Wilson, Pittman, Flowers, Ridley, and Nico. Okay, if you can, one spot of the playoffs. Okay, if you can, I would trade.
How was he second?
I would trade Ridley or Pittman or Flowers away. I would keep Nico, Puka, and Garrett Wilson. Especially if Aaron Rodgers comes back, you have to keep Garrett Wilson. I would trade away Pittman, Flowers, or Ridley. One of those two. You won this week, but you lost your last 5 games. Eesh. Okay. Yeah, trade, like I said, trade Pittman, Flowers, or Ridley for Logan Thomas. Just get him straight up.
I would not trade Ridley. I think Ridley is now going to be a thing for the rest of the season. I would not trade Ridley.
I personally
I believe on the other two, but I would not.
Yeah, Pittman, I think you can trade away. Flowers, I'd be fine with considering.
I would leave Ridley.
Actually pretty deep. I will give you that. So send him Pittman or Flowers for Logan Thomas. Honestly, I think one of those dudes for Logan Thomas straight up is pretty fair.
I think the guy who has Logan and Njoku would take Flowers for him, and
yeah,
you can.
I think yeah, Flowers for Logan Thomas is a pretty fair deal.
Yeah, so there you go. All right, man. Well, good luck to you, D's Nuts. My name is Jeff, and also Caden, the Colts fan. That's a great name. Caden the Conqueror.
Godspeed.
Caden is about to conquer his league with that team. Jeez. With that trade, that's for sure. So good luck, my fellow ranters. Good luck with your leagues. Hit us up on Twitter. Let us know how you did. We're more than happy to help you out going forward. We do, man. We're already crazy how fast this goes, huh?
That's all good. Back to the college football thing. Take the under on Iowa, Nebraska.
26.5.
Take the under. That's such an awful game. I am not watching that at all. Just take the under.
Nebraska is favored -2.5. Now the last two unders
disgusting.
for Iowa have been in the 20s, and they both hit 2, and they went even lower this week. So it's a little interesting. So I hate Iowa. There's no reason why they should be playing in the Big Ten championship game. Not a chance in hell. But there we are. I hope they change that when Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA goes next year. It's going to be interesting to say the least. But yeah, I agree with you. I kind of want to take the under just because it's so low and everyone's going to be taking the over, and Vegas knows what we don't. So there you go. Okay, a big game. Texas Tech at Texas. It's a 12.5 spread towards Texas. However, the public is leaning just slightly towards Texas Tech in Texas. I know it's a big rivalry game. I think you're with me here. I'm taking the 12.5 Texas.
Texas minus 12.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the minus 12.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. I think that's a no-brainer. And even when I see the public leaning towards Texas Tech, like, what do you know that I know? Ewell's back. The team has to win to even have any type of chance at college football playoff. There's no Texas Tech is out of anything. It's no reason for me to think that Texas does not cover the 12.5. And at the very least, to be honest. Oregon State at Oregon, minus 13.5 with 56% of the public on Oregon. My goodness, what is happening here?
I'm very torn on this spread. First off, take the over, 62.5. Take it. I think that over is pretty good.
I do like that over too.
The spread. Because here's the other thing too. As far as we know, this is going to be the last Civil War game between these two schools.
Yes.
And you want to go out with a bang. Oregon State's good. I think the rain, ironically, kind of screwed them versus Washington.
It never rains in Austin either.
Yeah. I'm going to take Oregon State plus 13.5. I'm going to do it.
Fair. I kind of like that too. I think Oregon wins, but this rivalry is always close. Even last year, Oregon was up like 28 points at halftime, ended up blowing it and losing it. So yeah, I like Oregon to win, but I think they don't cover the 13.5. I'm taking Oregon State, even though I'm not going to put any money down because I never bet on my own teams or against them. But that's the smart thing I would do there. All right, moving on to the game. What? Jesus, what's going on here?
Real quick. Let me say this. Team Money Reacts. We will get to your trade. Let us finish this college football thing real quick, and we'll get to it right after.
Get to the college
I promise.
Okay, we may have to do your AFC title game next week at this point, which is great, though. I love people getting in here and asking questions.
Yeah,
that's what we're all about.
I'd love to. Honestly, I don't know what it is this year, but like fantasy football this year, I've just been way more invested and involved in it than I have it in any other year. And I don't know what it like. I'm all caught up in it. I love it. I love it.
It's like one of the worst years we've had, and like just like not consistency, or it's just been crazy.
Oh, it's been great for me. Out of the 8 leagues I'm in, 6 of my teams range between 6-4 and 8-2. Like I am doing really well this year.
All right.
So I'm.
All right, go ahead.
Let's go.
Get some, baby. Go. You know what I'm talking about, right? All right.
Exactly.
The game. I don't know why they call it that. I hate it, by the way. Oregon State at Michigan. Michigan's laying minus 3.5 favorite at home. However, the public 62% at Ohio State, which normally would tell me to go the other way, but I don't believe in any of these teams, to be honest. I don't believe in this Michigan team. They've been struggling. They struggle with Maryland. Ohio State seems to have more of their shit together, to be honest. I think Ohio State covers, maybe wins. No Jim Harbaugh. They struggled against Penn State for a while. They struggled against Maryland. They just haven't been putting people away when Ohio State's playing some of their best football of the year recently. It just kind of feels like a trap game for Michigan, as it always is, right? It's always the underdog who wins the game, and it has been for a few years now.
Okay, this is what I'm going to tell you. Under 46.5.
Yes, 100% under. Yes.
Iowa State plus 3.5.
Okay, I like that. Yep. So Ohio State plus 3.5 and the under. Yeah.
And
if
you don't want to take the spread, Michigan money line. They are winning this game.
What?
Yeah. Michigan's winning this game. Ohio State will cover, but Michigan wins.
Oh, you think it's going to be that close?
Yeah, I think it's close. I think this game is decided by 1 or 2 points.
I like it. I hope so, because I had nothing else to do Saturday morning. So.
Ohio State will cover, but Michigan will win this game.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. This will come down because I could see very easily one of the two coaches, let's say they go for a 2-point conversion, it gets busted, and now the score's within like 2, like that. So I could see it like the final score being within 2 or 1. I could see it happening.
Okay. Well, we'll skip the Apple Cup because we don't have time for it. But Washington State at Washington, I mean,
Washington
minus 16.5 Washington. But the interesting is that 61% of the public is on Washington State because of what they did last weekend to Colorado. Let's not get real here.
Sucks. Next.
Yeah. Yeah, next. This is a very intriguing one here. Florida State, they just lost Jordan Travis to the year with a nasty leg injury. However, Florida also lost last week and lost their quarterback, your boy, whoever dated your friend or whatever.
Graham Harrell or whatever his name. That dude
whatever
sucks.
his name is. Well, he's out too. So both quarterbacks injured. Florida State still favored in Florida minus 6.5 with 57% of the public at Florida. I found this game very, very intriguing because as an Oregon fan, I need Florida State to lose. Now, however, I think Florida State wins this game. I don't know if they cover. I may take Florida in the 6.5. I think Florida State wins, but I think Florida State absolutely gets spanked by Louisville in the ACC championship game.
I actually agree with that. I would take the under in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm taking in the money line as far as the coverage goes.
The under is 49.5, by the way, right now, live.
Yeah, I'm taking the under at 49.5. I'll probably take Florida State to cover, but I think Florida State gets smacked by Louisville.
They get absolutely smacked. I'm interested to see what that spread is. I can guarantee you Louisville
will I'll be honest. I'm really interested to see where the committee puts Florida State after they lose their quarterback.
They lost a spot in some rankings to
in the normal rankings, yeah.
So we'll see what happens with the computer rankings because the computer rankings don't adjust for Jordan Travis being out.
Yeah.
Right?
Unfortunate.
It's what's happened already. So, I mean, there are some human elements to the rankings of college football, but I think it's 60-40 computer or is it like more like 70-30 or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out as well. But I think they get spanked by Louisville in the and whoever wins between Ohio State and Michigan is going to spank Iowa. And I'm also taking the over in that game.
Yeah, honestly, whoever wins, it's just so close because whoever wins between Ohio State and Michigan should honestly be out of the playoff. But if they play each other so well like they did last year and they both get in, honestly, I'd be fine with that too. I'm just still hoping that Texas weasels their way in there.
It's gonna be
just
tough.
Because I think they would give all those teams a really good fight. But yeah, man, I think this is going to be a very interesting.
I think the fourth spot is either going to go to Oregon or Washington. Whoever wins the Pac-12 title, if they both win this next week in the Apple Cup and the Civil War, I think that's
awesome.
That you need Washington to lose. For Texas, you need Washington to lose. You need Oregon to lose to Oregon State. Arizona gets in the Pac-12 championship, and then you need Arizona to beat Washington in the Pac-12 championship in order for that to happen.
You need complete and utter chaos, which I'm more than here for.
Yeah, so
good luck we need that.
All right, okay. Team Money reacts. Let's get to him real quick before we go to we may screw a break. Let's just keep on going.
Should you trade Mixon for DeAndre Swift and Gus Edwards, or trade Mixon for Josh Jacobs and Christian Kirk?
Ooh. That's a tough one. That one's hard. I hate these 2-for-1s. I hate these 2-for-1s because, one of them is a 2 running back situation. I don't want any part of Gus Edwards. I'll tell you that right now. You're pretty much trading Mixon for Swift because you got Keontae Mitchell coming up, right? You have Justice Hill still there. You got the legs of Lamar Jackson as well. I don't want any part of Gus Edwards going forward.
True,
two touchdown dependent.
I mean, but the thing is that DeAndre Swift has such a high upside. Oof.
Yeah, but Mixon now is going to be the focal point of that offense, too. You got to imagine.
Okay, but think about what you said earlier, where you think Calvin Ridley's kind of like he had his coming out party and now it's going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That makes Christian Kirk less valuable.
I don't think Kirk is as valuable at all. Yeah. He's not as consistent, obviously, as last year because of the Calvin Ridley effect, right? But what happened with Jacksonville, right? They got embarrassed. They came out and said, how do we win this game? How are we good? Oh, let's just run the ball with Lawrence and throw it to Calvin Ridley. Oh, gosh, that seemed to work like it did earlier this season. I think that's going to be more of their game plan going forward. I'm going to be honest with you. I would just keep mixing. I wouldn't even make any one of these trades.
It's going to be actually, I think I would trade Mixon for Gus and Swift. That's my personal opinion.
You're pretty much trading Mixon for Swift at this point. But
I think that's fine because I think that's fine because Swift has a higher upside than Mixon, especially now with Joe Burrow being out. I like Swift more.
Let's see. Swift
I would do that first.
78 yards and a touchdown. And he also has 1 carry for 9 or 1 reception for 9 yards. By the way, AJ Brown in this game, 1 catch for 8 yards.
Yeah, don't remind me. I'm not happy with that. I'm actually kind of livid.
Deontay Smith, 4 for 45. It hurts. I don't know. I think we may have a loser in the Guillotine League after I look at this now.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look. The Eagles still have the ball, though, and I can't count them out just yet. It has been a rainy game, so it's interesting as Hurts just nearly throws an interception.
Would you do it if I could trade for Jacobs and Swift? Yes. Yeah. If you could get Josh Jacobs and Swift for Mixon, you would do that.
Yeah, if you can do Josh Jacobs and DeAndre Swift
for Mixon, then yeah, and then take that guy out to lunch after because he's gonna need it. Jesus Christ! Buy him a nice dinner and say thank you.
Tell you what, get him before you take him on this trade thing. Offer him some hardcore liquor as a thank you.
Yeah. There you go.
No, I think if you have the one trade, Mixon for Swift and Gus, or if you can get Mixon for Swift and Jacobs, highway robbery. Just do it.
I would run as fast as I can with whatever money to make that happen. That's
bro. It's legalized robbery, legalized theft is what we call it, dude.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
good luck to you, bro. Hope it works out.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, no, yeah. If that works out, man, please let us know. I would be interested to know if that works. And also, can I join your league and trade that guy as well?
Yeah, shoot us a message. Shoot us a GM on Twitter. You got our handles right there on screen.
Even if that was a dynasty league, it would still be robbery. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Especially because you don't know. Mixon's in the last year of his contract. He's probably gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dude. And like DeAndre Swift, as long as Jason Kelce is still heading that Eagles offensive line, you could drive literal semi-trucks through the Eagles offensive line. Like, DeAndre Swift is gold.
They made Boston Scott a thing. Let's put it that way. They made
Kenneth Gainwell a thing.
Kenneth Gainwell.
For the couple rushes he got, they made first-round bust Rashad Penny look like a thing for like the couple touches he got. So
until he got hurt again. To no one's surprise.
It is what it is, man. It is. My giant claim to fame is that I saw Rashad Penny play the high school championship because he played for Norwalk, which is not too far from where I live.
Okay, hold on. You once ate a hot dog every inning at a Houston Astros game, but your claim to fame is watching Rashad Penny play college high school football. Come on now, Heavy T.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yes. I also ate. I don't know if I told you this real quick. Small sidetrack, obviously. The radio show I was working for in Houston. It was the show before 4th of July, and our show started at 6 a.m. So keep that in mind. And I did a thing. How many hot dogs could I eat in 4 hours? Because that's how long our show was.
At 6 a.m?
At 6 a.m. I got up to, if I remember correctly, I got up to 15 or 16. And I remember after 13, I was like, this is a chore. This is so bad. Why would anybody do this?
Imagine how Joey Chestnut feels.
Yeah. Like, the funny thing is that I did that. And then a year later, I did the 9 hot dogs in 9 innings. So clearly I love punishment. It is what it is. So next accomplishment, probably be at an Angels game next year because they're not going to be a good product on the field. So I got to entertain myself somehow. 9 hot dogs, 9 beers, 9 innings. That's probably going to be the next one.
Well, what you could do is take the bun and dip it in the beer like they do in the like the.
It's possible. It's possible. Make it go down a little bit. So 9 hot. This is what I'm playing. Playing 9 hot dogs. 9 hot dogs. Condiments are optional. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta have it dry. And 9 805s, which if you don't live in Southern California, it's a great beer over here. So 9 of those. That will happen in a 9-inning game. I will have a designated driver. Don't freak out, everybody. I will not be driving that night. So yeah, we're gonna make it a game. Try and get on the jumbotron. We'll see what happens, man.
When is this happening, and when am I coming down to LA to see this?
You know what? We have the schedule for the season out already. Okay. I'll try to do it on a bobblehead night, so at least I feel like I got a reward out of it. So
can we bring Thomas Stevens to video document this? Dude,
we'll figure this out. We'll plan in due time.
I'll just go live on Instagram Live.
we might do it. We'll plan this out. This will be a glorious occasion.
Awesome. I think that'll be awesome.
Oh, we gotta do that.
All right. The Eagles did punt, and now it's The Chiefs have the ball here, just over midfield. So with 10:20 to go, it's looking like the Eagles may need a miracle, or hold them to a field goal to have a chance. So Patrick Mahomes, still not impressive. 19 of 30, 148, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception.
It's a rainy game. It's a slog. It's kind of what you expect for middle of November Kansas City. It is what it is. But hey, 2 of the best teams fully healthy. No Sodfather anywhere near here. So I think we're good to go. But real quick, speaking on the Chiefs, so I told you I did have what by some could be perceived as a hot take.
Okay.
So
first off, it's time for What Say Ye, Heavy Tea.
Thank you. Thank you to all my loyal subjects. Hear ye. Yeah, so you mentioned it earlier, and I would like to point out the fact that my NFC Championship game, and you can go back and you can watch the footage, my NFC Championship game prediction was Lions at 49ers. That's looking pretty good right now. Might be flipped, actually. But I'm sticking with that.
Okay.
My AFC Championship game, that was Bengals-Jets. That is probably not happening. So, to be fair, everyone was healthy, and Aaron Rodgers hadn't gone down, like a jet, I guess. Like, I don't know how else to make that. So he wouldn't, if he didn't go down, then maybe. That offensive line is atrocious.
So who do you have now? I'm very interested in this. Who do you have now?
Do not be surprised. I was looking at the teams, and the AFC is really weak this year.
It's crazy, right? It's supposed to be strong.
The Bills are iffy. Yeah, the Bills are iffy. The Dolphins can't beat any good teams. Joe Burrow's hurt, so the Bengals are done. The Jaguars, I'm not sold yet. The Chargers are the Raiders are better than the Chargers. Like that's how that's working out. There's only 2 teams I could see giving the Chiefs a good game in the AFC Championship game. One of them is the more obvious one, Ravens-Chiefs, which would be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be surprised if your AFC Championship game is in Kansas City and it is the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans.
I was just going to say that.
Do not be surprised if this is the AFC Championship game. Houston has a very pretty easy schedule going forward.
They do.
Let me
they
just
really
double
do.
check that. I know I kind of said that and it was like a double entendre, a very pretty easy schedule.
Well, when you play in the AFC South, right? They do
have
to
play the Jaguars
time, though.
That's this week.
Yeah.
So that's a huge game right there.
Yeah, that could decide the division, to be honest.
And like part of it, look, don't get me wrong. Part of it is because they play in the AFC South, but part of it is because they were in last place last year, so they get the last place schedule. Mm-hmm. That's just the way. I mean, we didn't know that CJ Stroud was going to be in the MVP conversation in his rookie year. So this is who Houston has left. At home against the Jaguars, at home against the Broncos. Now this one's tricky. On the road against the Jets, but Aaron Rodgers said he wants to come back December 2nd. That game is December 10th. So they could be getting Aaron Rodgers. Just keep that in mind. Then they're on the road in Tennessee, win. At home against Cleveland, win. At home against Tennessee. No. Stop it. What do you tell me? Joe Flacco's going to come over here and beat the Texans? Shut up. That's not happening.
That defense is no joke, man.
That defense is no joke, but that offense is a joke. So there is that.
Sure.
Then you have at home
better than the Jets offense.
Oh, that's debatable. I don't know about that. At home against the Titans, and then they close the season on the road against the Colts. They are currently 6-4. Let's say you give them 2 more losses. You're looking at what? 12-6? No, 11-6 team.
Yeah,
that's a playoff team right
fair. There. And I think that's doable. Not only a playoff team. You're gonna. That'll probably win the division. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see where they end up. But yeah, do not be surprised if the AFC Championship is Texans Chiefs. I think personally, I think that's a great game. And
considering everyone else is beating the crap out of everyone else.
Well, I mean, there's that too. But the other reason why it's interesting is because where does CJ Stroud go to college? Ohio State. That dude can play in the cold. So that's going to be a little bit of an interesting game when you really think about it. D'Amico Ryans has those dudes fired the F up.
I love that hire. I said earlier this year.
It was
I love that hire. I love
hire.
that team. I love the Devin Singletary pick was great to spell.
Yeah.
And just
I cannot remember
Dalton Schultz. What a great pickup that was.
Oh, I bless the Texans for Dalton Schultz. That's a great vet pickup. I'm looking it up right now because I can't remember his name and I want to give him his due. So give me 1 second. Shout out to Bobby Slowick, the Texans offensive coordinator.
Oh,
considering what they had last year with Tim Kelly and they had Davis Mills, this team has pulled a complete 180 in NFL world practically overnight. It's just so good.
Oh, and by the way, they're playing good defense.
That's the other thing too. And honestly, this might be a hotter take. Do not be surprised if you see a Texans-Chiefs AFC Championship game. And do not be surprised if the Texans win.
Okay, no. I don't know about that. The
Chiefs have some offensive weapons.
The Kansas City has a really good defense, too, and they made a lot of adjustments.
Well, Kansas City hasn't... honestly, I think Houston...
They're holding Philadelphia to 14 points right now in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but it's raining.
It stopped raining. It's not raining anymore.
I don't know, man. I feel it looks pretty wet. So we'll see. Look, I'm just saying the Texans might be the Bengals from 2 or 3 years ago. What was that?
Touchdown Devontae Smith.
There you go. The Chiefs can be beat.
No, he's down to 1.
Chiefs are being beat right now.
Down to 1.
Oh, okay, the tush push. It's a guaranteed touchdown.
I will say that pretty much just gave us a loser in the Guillotine League, though.
I'm not going to have enough time to write a eulogy because I just saw what time it is.
We'll do it next
week. We'll
week,
get it next week. But yeah, do not be surprised if the Texans end up being the Cincinnati Bengals from 3 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl. It actually might happen, dude.
Could be.
And I'd be more than it.
I love CJ Stroud. I love Nico Collins. We've talked about the Texans to nauseam tonight, it seems like. I love Dameon Pierce. I love Davis, like the whole team. I love Ryans. Everything they've done is what I would hope the Chargers would do when they got Justin Herbert, and none of it happened. So,
D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud march into Kansas City and finish the job that Bill O'Brien and Deshaun Watson could not. Poetic justice, chef's kiss, make it happen. NFL script writers, make it happen.
Well, they just made something happen. Another tush push. 6-yard or 1-yard touchdown, 6 more points for Jalen Hurts there, keeping Matt Sells alive in the Guillotine League. So it's not over yet. I think they're within 10 points of each other, so anything's possible here this current time. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be Stan Hill, who was on the chat earlier, or our boy Matt Sells. Somebody will be eliminated, and everyone's out of fab, so it'll be interesting. See what happens.
Might have to up the fab next year a little bit.
No, not up it. It's just this is what if you want to waste that much money in the beginning, you take those risks, right? We're learning how to adjust. And now, if I would have known that, I would have kept like $5 so I could just put $1 on these players to out fab the other guys who have zero.
That's true. Oh, giving away strategies for free. I see.
Well, there's only 7 of us left, so I think we're down to 7. So I think we're at that point now where I think everyone agrees. That would have been
take us away with the case of the Mondays, man. Get us out of here.
Yes, sir. At Heavy T on air. Thank you so much. What say you, Heavy T? What he said was the Houston Texans will be in the AFC Championship game with the Kansas City Chiefs, who just lost the lead, by the way, to Philadelphia. It's going to be a great game. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're enjoying us here on Monday Night Rants. I'm going to do Case of the Mondays real quick, and then we'll send you on your merry way into the night. Hey! Oh, Case. This is this week's version of
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Monday.
USC. The only good thing you can say about the Trojans' regular season this year, as Heavy T and myself documented all year, is that it's finally just over. No way Caleb Williams plays in a bowl game. He's going to the draft. We'll see if he even gets taken first overall this year. What a miserable year for Lincoln Riley and USC. Ended it with a cap of losing 3 straight, losing to your rival UCLA after getting stomped by Oregon. The defense is a problem. Lincoln Riley's defense will always be a problem. You're going to the Big Ten next year with no quarterback and no defense. Good luck, Caleb Williams, good luck in the NFL, but this year has been really sad. So sad, you even cried on your mom in the stands. USC?
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Going back to another college football team. Sorry, that was kind of rough, but they deserve it. Going back to Auburn. What the hell? The Iron Bowl is this week. We didn't even talk about the Iron Bowl earlier. You know why? Because Auburn got absolutely embarrassed, annihilated, insanely embarrassed at home to New Mexico State. No, don't get me wrong. New Mexico State has had a pretty good year. They're not your typical bottom of the dwelling New Mexico State, but it's New Mexico State this late in the year in Auburn before the Iron Bowl. You literally paid New Mexico State to come play you this week. $1.85 million to come. Well, guess what? They ran out with the money and the win, but also really adjusted the lines for the Alabama-Auburn game in the Iron Bowl this weekend, which I'm intrigued by because of it. But ultimately, Auburn, what an embarrassing loss.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Speaking of embarrassing losses here, the Seattle Seahawks, now losers of the last three. The Seahawks fell flat in the second half, and they were up by 13 points with 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. And what happened? I know Gino got hurt, but just for a little bit. Now, this is rough. Losing this game was tough. They should have won this game because here's what they have coming. They could not afford to lose. The Seahawks now, next 4 games are against the 49ers on Thanksgiving, then the Cowboys, then again against the 49ers, and then against the Eagles, their next 4. The Seahawks not winning these last 2-3 games may have just taken themselves out of playoff contention. Ooh, the Seahawks.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the
more,
Mondays.
I always do for fun. The Commanders, yes, they lost the game, but you know who really has a case of the Mondays? All the loved ones of the Commanders and the Giants, because they had to go home to their loved ones without taking a shower because there's no hot water or no water at FedEx Field. What a dump this place has become. It's the NFL version of O.co or the Oakland Coliseum. There's always something wrong here. The stadium is a mess. No one can shower. Washington's a mess, by the way. New ownership group has all it can handle. You lost to Tommy DeVito and the Giants at their lowest. We thought that maybe the Giants were going to go for a first-round pick, but no. They came out to play. Commanders, get this. Commanders gained 15 more first downs than the Giants. They outgained the Giants by 111 yards and ran 23 more offensive plays, and they sacked Tommy DeVito 9 times and still lost the game. And then couldn't even shower and had to go home and cry to their loved ones smelling like ass. Ron Rivera, not Riverboat Ron. His name will never be called that here on the show. And the Commanders.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Rough. My fellow ranters, I wish you all a very special Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your loved ones. Get some time to yourself. Get some time off of work. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the family because you never know when it could just disappear. Life is great. Life is good. We love sports. We love you here. From myself, from Heavy T and Thomas Stevens, have a wonderful and I mean absolutely lovely Thanksgiving. And we'll see you next week, my fellow ranters. Shout out and happy Thanksgiving as well to Taj McGowan. Boom.